Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Sharp, and I'd like to welcome you to our show. We call it Tournament Horse Racing. It's brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. Here's how it works. Very simple. We've got a four-race tournament set up for tonight, and basically we're just looking for the highest return on investment, or ROI, if you like. And the horse player with the highest ROI for tonight's tournament is going to win tonight's tournament. We actually keep track of these, and we're going all throughout the year. So you're actually going to see tonight's our final episode of our preseason tournament, and we'll show you how it all works. We are going to go in time zone order as I introduce you to our horse players, and I'm going to start out on the East Coast in Staten Island, New York. It's my good friend Ray Torado. Ray, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very good, thank you.
I, Thanks, Ray. And I'm going to come back out here to the West Coast, and let me introduce you to my neighbor. He is to the south. He comes to us from Temecula, California. Joe English, how have you been?
I'm well, Rich. Thanks. How about you guys?
I'm hanging in there. I'm kind of excited about the sports weekend we've got coming up here. We got a lot of
Mm,
NFL football,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we've got a really exciting UFC fight coming up tomorrow night as well. So I'm looking forward to this weekend. I will let everybody know we actually do have one more horse player. I think he's running a little bit late tonight. His name is Steven Newsom, so he might actually come in here and join us as we're doing. He's really our newest member of our horse racing family. He's again my friend, and he is over here from Menifee, California. His name is Steve Newsom, as I mentioned before, and running a little bit late. So hopefully we'll see him before tonight, and we'll get him going. So folks, it's just a reminder that Joe, Ray, Steve, and myself, we're all friends. We do this show for fun, and we try not to take ourselves too seriously. We are not a touting service, and we are most certainly not recommending or selling our picks in these races. We're just horse players. We love our sport, and we love competing against each other, and we do this for fun, and we hope you do as well. So, with that being said, we're going to move along. I will do a really quick little recap here of, you know what? As a matter of fact, I will say that. Let's go ahead and jump into our horse racing. I'll see if I can get Steve here, and then maybe we can include him in our recap from last week. He did really well last week, so I'd like to include him in that one. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, for the horse players that are out there, we are heading off to Louisiana. This is the Fairgrounds Racetrack. Excuse me. And our pick four tonight, the four races that we'll be competing in our tournament, begin in race 11. We'll conclude in race number 14. We are starting in race number 11. They are going 1 mile and 70 yards. It is the Silver Bullet Stakes. The purse is $150,000. It's for filly 3-year-olds only. And your morning line favorite is out there in post number 5. That is, and I'm going to probably mess this up because it's all Creole and everything else, but it's La Crete, trained by Steve Asmussen and ridden by Joel Rosario, is 2-1 on the Fairgrounds morning line. And actually, this will pertain to how we were doing it last week and how we do it in many cases here. I'm actually going to go first, which might give you a clue as to who won last week's tournament. And so I will kick us off in race number 11. And I do not have the favorite in this race. I went all the way out on a limb here, and instead of going with a 2-1 shot, I went with a 5-2 shot. I like a right inside, which is Sweet as Pie, trained by Todd Fletcher and written by Floren Giroud. The horse is by Tappet. She was a mere $490,000 purchase. Won her first race, a maiden special weight affair that was at Belmont, and then came right back in a stakes race. She finished fourth just by 4 and 4 3/4 lengths. Again, not a poor effort. It was at Belmont. Todd Fletcher, all of his numbers, as you see here. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let me get my tools up here so that I can actually show you what I'm talking about on the ledger here and things like that. But all of his numbers in these particular kind of races, which is the fact that she's been away for a couple of months, a shipper in a non-graded stakes race. You've got him, Floren Giroud, especially good at this particular track down there. I do love the Tappet angle and the high price tag. And so I did go with the number 4 horse here, Sweet as Pie. We'll go ahead and switch out east. And Ray, you're going to get to go right after me here, so go ahead. You're up next.
All right. It's an interesting race. We had six 3-year-olds. Silver Bullet Day Stakes. I remember this horse. One of my
Yeah.
favorites. She won the 99 Oaks, the Black Eyed Susan, Alabama, and 15 out of 23, and $3 million. And I loved watching her run, so I'm happy to handicap this race in Silver Bullet Day. Um, I kind of went with the horse, the favorite. Um, it's hard to pass her by. For the price, I didn't want to pick her, but she broke her maiden gate to wire. I mean, the comments said cleared, widened, geared down. So I kind of was impressed by that. Her first time out, she's out of Snowshoe Sable, Steve Asmussen, Joe Rosario, and I think it's worth a shot against the winners. She could be something special. Maybe this is the start of her 2021, 22 3-year-old campaign for Lacrette. She looked good. I mean, she wired the field, and normally maidens first time out going 2 turns, they don't do that. So I hope she doesn't bounce, and I hope maybe she can. I hope she can step up to competition and run like she did last time because she looked pretty good. So I know that Sweetest Pie could be coming, and I'll be screaming for the wire. So it could be a 2-horse race. I can see that. So I'm going to Lacrette. I'm hoping that she can improve and duplicate her last race.
Well, since it wasn't tossed to me and I'm the only one here, I guess I'll go next. And Rich, if we were selling if we had, if money was involved in our picks, we would be having to pay people to take them off our hands. So selling them is not really an option.
Good point.
I went with the horse down on the rail, Fannie and Freddie. She's 5-2, also 5-2 on the morning line. One of the top 3 choices. She drew well. She drew a nice rail draw. She's been solid since she started going 2 turns. Since in November at the fairgrounds, winning her maiden and finishing second to a 3-for-3 horse, North County in the Untappable. She's got tactical speed. I don't think they're going to let. I don't think she's going. If Lacrette goes to the lead, I don't think she's going to let her get away. She'll be close enough that she could make a run. And I like the connections. Al Stahl is a local trainer, and he and Colby Hernandez are obviously having their usual solid meet. So I went with the inside horse, the local heroine, Fannie and Freddie.
Here. For everybody's information, tonight actually is kind of a special night. This is actually on 3 Broke Guys. This will be our first race of the year, our first night of the year. It actually involves a race that's got Kentucky Derby points on the line. Even though this is just the final race of our preseason tournament, this actually does include the Lecomte Stakes, which I believe does have some Kentucky Derby points on the line.
Yep, it does.
Here we go. And we're going to move along to race number 12. They are going 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. This is the Colonel E.R. Bradley Stakes. The purse is $100,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. Your morning line favorite is in post number 6. That is 2 Emmys, trained by Hugh Robertson and ridden by James Graham. 3-1 on the Fairgrounds morning line. And Ray, why don't you go ahead and kick us off in this leg?
Okay. Usually turf races with the big fields, get me a little bit excited because a lot of picks. I went with number 7, Excess Magic, 8-1. Kind of a little bit going on a limb here, but I see her fairgrounds record. His fairground record is 3 out of 4. Overall, it's 4 out of 8 with 7 in the money, so it just kind of likes to win. Could get a good trip, stalking. Looks like a solid middle distance horse. He was quick enough to win in sprints, 7.5 furlongs. So at the end, he also won a few strong races around the mile. He probably needs to improve a little bit, stepping up in class. I liked the race last time in the Wood Chopper. He ran a mile fairgrounds and he finished off well with Raylu Gutierrez, Brett Calhoun. They're doing pretty good. 38% the last 29 starts over 60 days. And I remember Raylu used to be on the NYOA circuit and he can't win out there, and he's doing pretty good. So I'm happy for him. I take 8-1 with this horse. I can see the horse to beat probably will be 2 Emmys. She got good figures going back from last year. So, but she's off a layoff. So I'll take a chance with Excess Magic, and maybe he can improve and step up into this company and this distance. Uh, Rich or Joe?
I was gonna kick it to Joe because he actually would have been in line, but then as you see here,
Okay.
I haven't changed my font and things like that. But kind of what Ray said. I'll go ahead and jump in ahead of Joe, so maybe we'll get some suspense out of this one because I've just got the 7 Excess Magic, and exactly what Ray said. I did add Magician. The fact that the sire is Magician. Again, Ray, you've mentioned this before. It's kind of so neat that we actually do see a lot of horses that we once handicapped on the show together that are now sires or successful sires.
Oh
And
yeah.
horses by Galileo, you actually get a bargain, only $3,800. So he could
Mm.
actually be a 3 broke guy sire if we had this. I did notice that William Reed was the owner and the breeder. So this again, uh, that's his dam there that they bred to Magician, and he is a colt, and he's only 4 years old, and a horse with some older horses in there. So I took a shot, and I did like that 38% that Ray Gutierrez and Brett Calhoun get together. So I'm riding the exact same horse that you are. We're gonna kick it to Joe, and then we'll introduce that last beep that I just heard that just joined us.
Okay, I went with an 8-1 shot as well. The race looks like it has a lot of speed to me. I went with the 3 Cavalry Charge. Dallas Stewart is a local Louisianan, and he does very well traditionally at this meet. He gave this guy some time off after a strong win at Keeneland and an on-win as a 3. He's been training here for a while, and he's tactical in a race full of speed. I think there's a lot of speed in the race, and I think he's going to be able to sit right off the pace. And I'm just hoping he can work out a trip that he doesn't end up where the speed backs up into him. But again, we know how devastating those Keeneland allowance races are. In a lot of cases, they're as good as stakes races. You can see the $90,000 purse for that race, and this race is $100,000 purse. So it's not really that much of a stretch to think that this horse can handle that slight class raise to a stakes race where the purse is only another $10,000 more. So he drew well, and like I said, he's got tactical speed. So I went with the 3 Cavalry Charge.
Oops. All right. And did I hear our final player, Steve Newsom? Did you just join us here for the beginning? We are on race number. We're actually on race number 12. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I finally got in. Sorry, guys.
no problem at all, sir.
Nah, no problem.
Anxiously waiting for you, and we'll catch you up here very quickly. And as a matter of fact, if you're ready, if you've got a pick for race number 12, go ahead and fire
Sure.
away because we're ready for it.
When I got that, I was going to take the. I think I might be kind of a chalk eating weasel tonight, but anyway, I took the 6 2 Emmys.
You, a chalk eating weasel?
No. And then I don't know anything about the jockey or the trainer in this one.
The numbers look good.
Numbers look beautiful. I mean,
James Grant.
looks like the class of the field, to be honest. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
3-1. What the heck?
And this would be a horse that we handicapped right here on our
Sire
Tournament
English
horse race.
Channel. So I've heard of that one.
Our
Yeah,
Tournament
Mr.
horse
D.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Mr. D last year at Arlington Park. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
and this horse had won at a mere 27-1 that day. So,
And maybe the Moniz too. No, that's the one of the races on the undercard.
I do believe. Yeah, you're right.
Right, the Moniz. Yeah.
Yeah, the Muniz. Okay.
Oh, so we've seen this one.
All right. Let's go ahead and we'll plug these in for you real quick. And we'll put the 3, 7, 2. And Steve, did you have a pick here in the race
I
number
did.
11, the one before it?
I do. I went with the same horse you did, Rich. Sweetest pie.
Let's see. The 4?
Yep.
All right. So we got the 4 and the 4. And so that brings us to the halfway point here. And now Steve has joined us. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look back Before we move along to race number 13 here at Fairgrounds, we'll go ahead and take a look back at what happened last week here on Tournament Horse Racing, just very quickly. And we were at Santa Anita. It was Cow Cup Day, so for Cowbreds and Cow-sired horses, and not surprisingly, the Cowbred took the tournament that day. I did actually, one of my better days. I was on fire, so to speak. I actually took victories in the first three races. Not that it gave me any sense of calm, because Steve was right there, right next to me. I had barely a $7 lead going into that last race. As you see there, Steve had $27. And that puts us in our preseason tournament, as we normally are here in Tournament
Oh
Horse Racing,
shit! Look at that.
presented by Broke Guys
Oh.
Handicapping. Steve is a mere 60 cents trailing Ray coming into our final race. I'm about $5.60 behind, so we're still in there. And as you've seen, Joe can strike at any moment. And so we also have 3 wins in 3 weeks. And I broke a string there wherein the analyst who did not show for the tournament was winning. So Ray and Steve had both missed their weeks, but had sent in their picks and were still victorious. And we've got 1 week left. Here we are going into Fairgrounds, and we are headed for race number 13. That is the Louisiana Stakes. It's a grade 3. The purse is $150,000 for 4-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is right here in post number 2. We've handicapped him on a number of occasions. His name is Mandaloon. He's trained by Brad Cox and ridden by Floren Giroud. Even money favorite on the Fairgrounds morning line. Mr. English, you're up. You are first up in the Louisiana Stakes.
Well, I'm not taking him, nor am I taking Midnight Bourbon, who's the 6-5 shot, who's right outside of him, because A, being behind, and B, 6-5 shots ain't gonna win me anything anyway. So I'm going a little off the beaten path with the number 6, the horse by the name of Warrant, who's 12-1. And yes, I know figure-wise he starts behind the top 2 in the wagering. There's really no doubt about it. But he's had a little time off after winning the Oklahoma Derby with a fairly good buyer speed figure. The trainer jockey combination of Brad Cox and Brian Hernandez is doing well at this meet. My understanding was it was 6 of 13 so far, which is like 46%, which is obviously fantastic. And the horse has been in the exacta 6 out of 7 times. So if for whatever reason one or both of the top horses stumbled tomorrow and a long shot actually comes through, I'm hoping that 12-1 on Warrant seems warranted.
Yet. All right, Steve, you are new to the episode here, but you are actually next up here.
All right.
Yeah,
No, I went with the second favorite, the 3 Midnight Bourbon. Joel Rosario and Steve Asmussen.
That's a great one.
Once in a while. Yeah, it's 6-5. I guess this horse has never had Lasix and blinkers, so well, I don't know about blinkers, but they're adding blinkers this time. But so we'll see if that helps them out.
Mr. Torado, you are up.
May I note that this is not a block? I am not blocking anybody. I like the
had
6
no idea
Warrant
it was in the
also.
position I was.
No, I like the 6 Warrant also. I didn't want to pick the
Oh,
top
okay.
2 coming off the layoff. These are horses that ran well last year. This would be a starting point for them. But for me, number 6 Warrant looks like he's an upcoming horse. He's improving. You got Mandaloon. Pending Kentucky Derby result, he might be the winner. Midnight
Yeah.
Bourbon, they're making
The
their season
big-
debuts, like I said. But I think Warren found his best stride. And he ran pretty good in the West Virginia Derby and the Ohio Derby. He won. He'd be coming something decent too. Although Babonic, he beat the 3-year-olds he beat. So he seems to be improving. He's out of Constitution. Now he's 4. So, Brian Hernandez had a good meet with Brad Cox. They're like 28%. So, Cox is always up there. So I think he's gonna get like a middle trip, and hopefully he can run down the other horses, especially Mandaloon, Midnight Bourbon, who should be in the race. And I'm hoping like Joe said, 12-1 is a good price, and we can score either second or get the winner, get some money for this race.
All right. Well, believe it or not,
Which
initially I had handicapped Midnight Bourbon, um, but I'm already trailing Steve. And to be honest with you, for those who don't know, I'm already sick of losing to Steve this week in totally different bets and things like that. So I'm gonna have to switch on the 3 and go to the
uh,
2 here. And I
calling the
will,
audible.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do something to shake this up because I
What do you
felt a
say?
bad taste in
Omaha,
my mouth.
Omaha.
Yeah, thank you. There we go.
All right, you go.
So I'm on to the 2, Mandaloon. Not too much of a stretcher. This is Brad Cox and Floren Giroud. They hit 24% together down there, and instead of getting the Tisnow, I'm actually getting into Mischief as the sire here. First time Lasix for Brad Cox. Yeah, he's merely 36% when it comes to that. 27% when he ships. This is why he wins Eclipse Awards. And the horse itself, well, he was, as Ray mentioned, he is second in the Kentucky Derby as we're taping this show right now, or as we're doing this show right now. Who knows by the time we come on next week, or thereafter. And the horse did come back at won the Pegasus at Monmouth, and then technically does win the Haskell. That was actually one of the few times you can actually sit there and say that was Flavian Pratt's fault, though. Hot Rod Charlie clearly had the horse beat, and Mandaloon wins on disqualification there. Still, we saw this horse. We actually caught on Mandaloon early in his 3-year-old season because we started doing our tournament last year,
Mm-hmm.
right about this time, right in January and in early February. And I am positive that we caught him. Him and Midnight Bourbon kind of have that little thing going on between them. You're going to see their names on both of their forms showing up regularly. And I believe they've each given as good as they've got. So this should be an interesting one. Initially, again, I did have Midnight Bourbon, but I do need to make up ground on Steve if I'm going to try and take this tournament. So I will go with Mandaloon and take the 2.
And just so that everybody's aware out there, I know Steve mentioned it, the Lasix thing. Most 3-year-olds around the country, 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, were not permitted to race on Lasix at stakes races. When they turn 4, that
Okay.
changes.
I got you.
Mm.
Thank you, Joe. All right. And we are going to go ahead and move along to what is technically for us our very first Kentucky Derby points race of the year. This is going a mile and a 16th on the main track, the Lecomte Stakes. Grade 3, the purse is $200,000. It's for 3-year-olds only. There are, as far as the Kentucky Derby points, 10 points to the winner, 4 to second place, 2 to third, and 1 place for fourth place. And your morning line favorite in this particular case is in post number 3, Papa Cap, written by Mark Casse and written by Joe Bravo, is 8-5 on the Fairgrounds morning line. Steve, you may have been last of the show, but you know what? You're first up in the Lecomte Stakes.
Yeah, surprise. That's just what I'm saying. I'm a chalk eating weasel. I'm going with Papa Cap. Yeah, Joey Bravo. He's been a good jockey here the last few years. Casey. Yeah, had some really nice workouts. The last 3 workouts at 48 seconds on 4 furlongs and 59 seconds on 5. So, I'm gonna go with the Papa Cap here.
Okay. Mr. English, you are up second here in the Lecomte.
Okay, I guess it's fitting since I'm up second. I unfortunately I went with the second choice. I took the 5 Epicenter, who dusted the Gunrunner field in his first two turn start. Joel Rosario gets back up, and he was up on this horse for the maiden win. And I'm hopeful because he's got a little bit more speed, at least what it shows on the form, he's got more speed than Papa Cap, and Papa Cap's going to have to run him down. I'm hopeful that he's got the lead when they turn for home into the 2 furlong plus stretch at Fairgrounds. So I went with the 5 Epicenter, the second choice at 9-5 on the morning line.
I need to go here because we've kind of switched this one around for this last term of the year. I've also got the 5. So Joe, and again, not blocking you. I'm actually trying to get away from Steve in this particular case, and so I've got the 5. Papa Cap is one of my favorite horses of this year, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he is my Derby horse so far this year. I have loved this one. Yeah, he came out of here he started at Gulfstream Park and then moved out here to California. For me, what more could you ask for? And then you got Mark Casse, Gunrunner. Russellwood Farms, if you can see there, it's a homebred. That Papa Scat, the dam, that's their horse. And he's been fantastic. I was willing to go with him. I really thought that he was the better horse, but Steve and Ray are above me, so hoping here that Ray doesn't go with the 5 Epicenter, and that's who I'm going to go with.
No, I mean, I know I have the lead, but I'm gonna take a shot here and try and go outside the box. Yeah. I went with number 6, Cyberknife.
He's
I
also my
know
gun
I'm
runner.
I'm giving up some stake experience here with the Papa Cap, and he ran in Great Ones and last year. But that was last year, and I'm hoping that maybe off the layoff they might have be fully cranked up. Cyberknife has been running. He just broke his maiden pretty well. He's got some good figures. He's got a little more. He's got also some speed too. He can stalk, and so he might be in the race. Good tactical speed stretching out. He's a son of Gunrunner also, and I'm hoping the blinkers will help. And I just hope that he improves off his layoff race. That was his first race, 2 turns, and he won. And so Floren, Giroud, Brad Cox. I'm hoping that this horse can do a little catch up here to for the at least the Papa Cap already broke the 100 figure. So let's see how Cyberknife does. Hopefully he can run well and get there.
All right. You know if that looks correct to everybody?
Mine are fine.
Yep. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, before I let us go
Oh
from
wait,
there.
you know what, Rich?
Yes.
Race 12. I wanted. I don't know why. Did I
Steve,
say?
yeah, I thought Steve went with 6.
Yeah, the 6, 2
I'm
Emmys.
sorry.
Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe I said 2 Emmys and we just put 2.
And that's
I
the
just
horse's
put the
name.
2.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
All
2
right.
M's. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was a numerical error.
yeah.
All right. So before I let everybody go, let's go ahead and we've got a few minutes here. Let's go ahead and jump ahead and take a look. This is the final leg of our preseason tournament, by the way. So again, as I showed you earlier, just a few dollars separating us, and this will be the last one today. Doesn't count for our year-end tournament, but let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be looking at next week because I'm kind of excited. We're heading out to for 2022. I call it the preps. And we're going to be going out to Gulfstream Park for the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. It was a little bit difficult. There actually is a nice racing weekend set up for next weekend on January 29th. And when we come back on the 5th on Gulfstream Park, we're going to stay in Florida for a few weeks there. You got the first 3 weeks down there, 2 weeks in Gulfstream Park, and 1 week in Tampa Bay Downs. And again, it was a tough choice over here. I think Santa Anita's got a big day on February the 5th as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Laurel actually might have a lot of racing that's going on that day. So we'll be looking at the fairgrounds. We'll be coming back to the same track that we did today for the Risen Star. And for those of you who are wondering if there's a method to our madness, there is. We're kind of on the Derby trail. So we're following around those horses that have points that are associated with the Kentucky Derby, which is what will lead us over to Oaklawn Park the following week, February the 26th. and at Santa Anita Racetrack for the Santa Anita Handicap and the Beholder Mile. Joe, I always think of that as a kind of a cool day for us. I think that was one of the first days that you and I really got to hang out together and really enjoy ourselves. Was at the Big Cap, and now the Beholder Mile is on that day, and you also get the Frank Kilroe Mile, and I believe it is the San Carlos that is the Derby Points race that's that day.
Mm.
We'll head back down to Florida. The Tampa Bay Derby is there. You also get the Florida Oaks on March the 12th, and again, you'll have Derby points on the line. We'll take a little break on the weekend of March the 19th, and then we'll come back again for the Fairgrounds Racecourse. They have a huge day on March the 19th. That includes the Louisiana Derby, which again will have 100 Kentucky Derby points on the line. On April the 2nd, the racing is so darn good, we have to split it apart, where Gulfstream Park and the Florida Derby and the Gulfstream Park Oaks will be on the line. And then we'll go back to Oaklawn Park and we'll see the Arkansas Derby and the Fantasy Stakes. And then we will finish up on April 9th, which is kind of a cool day here for Broke Guys Handicapping and tournament horse racing. We will take the Santa Anita Derby and the Santa Anita Oaks and the Wood Memorial and the Bluegrass Stakes. That'll conclude the tournament. And then you'll also get to see what we actually like to call Pick Four Wars. And that allows each of the horse players to actually play a pick four on that day. Ray will be playing the Wood Memorial out there in New York. Joe, our current Kentucky handicapper, and he's down there at Keeneland covering the Bluegrass Stakes for us. And me and Steve tackle Santa Anita together. And so you'll see us all on April the 9th. Again, we'll finish up our tournament that day, and we will also have a little bit of pick four wars. Kind of a fun day for us all.
Cool.
Ray, the New York races seem like they come, I guess, a little bit more in the second quarter where we have the second tournament. I'm going to go ahead and come on back.
Yeah,
to
right now for New York is not much until the Wood really.
I was really
It
surprised at
closed
that.
again today, so
Yeah, I
nobody
kept
likes the cold.
yeah, I kept looking at the schedule, and I would encourage anybody
Nothing.
that's looking at that. I use Bloodhorse, bloodhorse.com as
Mhm.
the location for our
Yeah.
schedule. And I haven't seen it filled in yet so far this year for everything after that first segment. So there is a little bit more that's in April, and that'll probably start off our second tournament of the year. That's the Triple Crown tournament for us. But that kind of concludes it here for Broke Guys Handicapping. We call our show Tournament Horse Racing. Ray, Steve, Joe, you guys know it's actually always a pleasure to handicap with all of you guys.
Yes, it is.
Hey, you going to?
All right. Before we get going here, my name is Rich Sharp, and this is Tournament Horse Racing brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. And we will see you guys all next week on January the 29th. That is officially the first tournament of the year, and that'll kick us off on our preps tournament. That one does conclude with our trophy ceremony and everything else that goes along with that good one. Again, I'm Rich Sharp for Joe English, Ray Torado, and Stephen Newsom. I will see you all next week. Good night, guys. Bye.
All right. Good night.